Imagine dusk settling over Los Angeles in the early 1970s and let yourself drift up the winding, sun-dappled roads of Lookout Mountain. The asphalt curls along the canyon's edge like a ribbon, drawing you further and further from the world below. A breeze whispers through eucalyptus trees, carrying the scent of leaves and distant ocean as golden magic hour light pools softly between their branches and casts long, painterly shadows. Nestled here at 8217 Lookout Mountain Avenue sits Joni Mitchell's modest home. Not a mansion, but a sanctuary. Its whitewashed clapboard exterior and quirky angles signal creativity even from the street, and stepping inside is like stepping into a bohemian dream. The floors, warm and worn, are a patchwork of hardwood softened by Persian rugs, their colors muted in the late afternoon sun. A grand piano waits by the window, perfectly positioned to catch a shaft of honeyed light. The air is always laced with sandalwood incense and the rich aroma of fresh coffee, mingling together to welcome guests long before they reach the door. This house is a world apart from the glitter and clangor of Hollywood just down the hill. Here, time seems to slow. Here, music and art and quiet conversation are all that matter. The magnetic pull of Lookout Mountain. What drew so many to this particular patch of canyon? The geography itself invited creativity. Rolling hills insulated the neighborhood, offering space to breathe, to think, to create without the eyes of the city bearing down. Laurel Canyon and Lookout Mountain in particular quickly became a mecca for songwriters, visionaries, and dreamers. Not far from Joni's front door, other legends hung their hats. Crosby, Stills, Nash, Young, Carole King, and Jackson Browne among them. The air seemed to hum with creative possibility. Joni herself was the perfect hostess, warm, endlessly curious, never pretentious. Word traveled quickly through the folk rock world about her house and her open heart. Invitations were unnecessary. Anyone who felt called simply arrived, instrument in hand or head full of music. Despite the towering names who gathered here, the setting remained profoundly intimate. No velvet rope, no velvet couches, just floors made for barefoot wandering and a kitchen meant for easy laughter. The house had its own quiet etiquette. Contribute what you can, be it song, conversation, or help washing up after dinner. The gathering place, evenings of enchantment. It was inevitable that Joni's home became the gravity center for Laurel Canyon's creative spirits. Most evenings unfolded with no plan at all. Someone would drop by as the sun dipped behind the hills. Another would follow, drawn by the sound of a guitar or a friend's laughter drifting out an open window. Arrivals would settle on the deck, watching the sky shift over the city below, swapping stories as daylight faded and music set the soundtrack. Dinner, always informal, always communal, might mean shared bread and soup around the kitchen table, wine flowing as easily as conversation. The living room was tailored for inspiration. Guitars leaned against every wall, their wood gleaming, and the piano lid stood perpetually propped. In these rooms, anything could grow from a casual strum. A jam session could blossom, harmony could spring unexpectedly from a passing melody, or a simple lyrical phrase could become a song that echoed across generations. And oh, the encounters, magic spun out of happenstance. Perhaps on one night, David Crosby and Neil Young would lock eyes and voices in a midnight duet. Another evening, gentle Carole King and brash Stephen Stills might find unexpected kinship over coffee. The music was only rivaled by the conversation, where talk flowed from heartbreak to politics, from the meaning of art to the price of fame. Food and wine softened inhibitions and broke down barriers. In this room, the most profound connections were made not on stage, but by the glow of a kitchen lamp. Graham Nash the constant companion. Through these years, one figure appeared almost nightly at Joni's side. Having traded England's green hills for Laurel Canyon's golden haze, Nash found in Joni not only artistic partnership, but gentle romance. Their lives entwined, both in song and in spirit. Here on Lookout Mountain, their shared domestic bliss inspired Nash's famous Our House, a song about ordinary magic, a vase of flowers, a cat in the window, and the sweetness of belonging. Nash's whimsical British sensibilities blended with Joni's painter's soul, and together their harmonies, musical and otherwise, became anthems of the entire canyon scene. But as with all great love stories, these songs carried both joy and melancholy, written in real time, chronicling the highs and the inevitable heartbreak as their relationship waxed and waned under the pressure of fame and creative fire. James Taylor's quiet presence. Another frequent guest drifted gently through Joni's salon. Shy, introspective, and battling his own shadows, Taylor found in Mitchell's home a safe harbor from the storm that fame so often brings. The two, kindred spirits, supported each other through fragile moments. Taylor's delicate, rolling finger-picking perfectly complemented Joni's bold tunings on the guitar and dulcimer. Late into the night, they would talk softly about the struggle to remain true in the whirlwind, about the burdens of vulnerability, and about the solace of music. From these nights, songs grew, songs of longing, redemption, and the subtle, shimmering peace found in companionship. The extended musical family. The cast of characters was ever-changing. There was David Crosby, always larger than life, the canyon's unofficial mayor, whose presence filled any room. Stephen Stills brought his trademark intensity, an edge that contrasted the mellow vibe but added new spark to every session. And of course, the enigmatic Neil Young, whose rare appearances were always an event, never predictable, always electrifying. Carole King, living just over on Appian Way, would drop in, piano queen greeting piano queen. Young Jackson Browne brought his innocent hunger, learning eagerly from every note, every story shared by those more seasoned. Even John Phillips from the Mamas and the Papas wandered over now and then, bringing his own brand of Californian harmony. And it wasn't just the famous. Lesser-known songwriters, road-weary travelers, poets, and painters found equal welcome. Joni's salon was radically open, a place where titles and egos were left at the door and everyone was made family for the night. Creative cross-pollination, the alchemy of art. In this relaxed, welcoming space, something rare and magical happened. Boundaries between discipline and genre fell away. Songs that would never have taken shape in a formal studio emerged amid laughter and midnight confessions. Guests exchanged secrets about chord progressions, about open tunings, about turning heartbreak into poetry. Joni, always a pioneer, shared her painting and her unusual approaches to structure in lyric. Others, in turn, offered their own gifts. Crosby brought his celestial harmonies, Young his raw ferocity, Taylor his intricate thumb-picked rhythms. Many legendary songs flickered to life here, born from these evenings or conversations. Woodstock, Our House, River, and beyond. Collaboration happened organically, harmonies discovered by accident, and lyrics polished by friendly debate. Visual art and literary conversations seeped into the music. Books, poetry, and painting all left fingerprints. Joni's home was as much an artist's colony as a musician's retreat, a crucible where new forms and friendships were forged. Ladies of the Canyon, songs born from life. From these gatherings, the music itself became a living document. Joni's album Ladies of the Canyon is both diary and love letter to the people and moments she cherished here. Real-life friends were immortalized in her lyrics, their quirks and beauty gently held up for the world in the shimmering light of song. Each track drew from true stories and ordinary evenings, song as snapshot, both intimate and universal. The challenge was always how to capture magic without betraying confidences, how to honor her friends' private lives while inviting listeners everywhere to find something of themselves in her lines. The response from her community was mixed. Some felt exposed, even embarrassed, while others felt deeply seen. But no one could doubt the honesty or the artistry of what she created. Beyond music, philosophical salons. When the music faded and the living room grew quiet, new conversations blossomed. This wasn't just a place for melodies, it was a space for ideas. No topic was too big or too small. Art, politics, the war in Vietnam, racial justice, environmental danger, spirituality. Joni was both ringmaster and muse, her curiosity infectious. She asked the questions no one else dared to